Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It is once again me, Zach, here today with another updated tier list for you guys in the new Keep Your Secrets update for Baroni. This is going to be a pretty short video because there aren't a whole lot of races in the game, so not a whole lot of changes to make. I have a couple that I think I'm going to tweak here, but we'll start with the ones that I think will have changed the most in this update. The first one is Insectoid. Arguably the biggest change, maybe not. We'll get to the other one in a second here. But Insectoid now has 100 energy, up from a mere 50, right? Yeah, 50 before. What this means is a couple of things. First off, Insectoids now have a much larger buffer to use their own built-in racial abilities with. They have Flutter, the poison spray thingy, and dash, and those are all fun, but oftentimes, especially for newer players, it's a struggle to know when to use them because you have such a limited resource in the form of their unique mana bar called energy. With this update doubling the size of it, not only does this mean that Insectoid can now actually play the Conjurer class all the way to the end of the game without, outscaling its own energy bar, it also means that mage gameplay more generally with the Insectoid is a lot less painful than it was before. Now, I still wouldn't put Insectoid in consistently great, but I am moving them up a tier into inconsistently great. My reasoning for this is on a couple of different levels. One, food still gives the same amount of energy that it always did, meaning that if you're playing as a mage, you're still going to want to eat a lot of food. Or even if you just want to use your racial abilities quite a bit. Magic is really powerful in the game, so having more access to it is definitely better than just good. However, I think that the change, while it was significant, will still leave mage gameplay for Insectoids as kind of a secondary thing, or they're a little bit weak at it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If you get a run where they get a lot of good food, or you get like a nice tin opener early on or something, and you just plow through like that, they're quite good at this point, for sure. I think this was a pretty massive buff for them, and honestly, maybe they will move up even further later on. However, for now, I'm happy with them being inconsistently great, because I do think that if you're a newer player, you might struggle, depending on the run, to maintain your food at a reasonable level without it getting too low. I will also say that they are now they always were the best race to play accursed. Now that's probably even more stupidly true. They can eat pretty much anything in the game as an accursed, because they can also eat blood. The only stuff they can't eat is scrap, like the automaton. And they can't directly eat tins like a goat man, but they can with tin opener, of course. So, at this point in time, when it comes to them playing accursed, they're probably even better. You have a much larger buffer to work with for now. So, big changes for the Insectoid, very happy with it. I think I'll probably do an Insectoid run here soon, maybe even put it up on YouTube, and really give them a full workout and see how good the magic can be with them. The other big change is sort of a more indirect one, and it's for goblins. With the changes made to spellbooks, making it so that they only degrade after a certain number of uses, no matter what, as well as making it so that blessings on spellbooks will count towards their durability. Goblin mages are now way more viable than they used to be, because of course goblins cannot learn spells, so they're heavily reliant on magic items, specifically staves, or more commonly, spellbooks, right? Because staves do tend to burn out pretty quickly either way. Now, a goblin that gets a spellbook of unlocking is going to be pretty well off, right? And to be honest with you, I think this is a more impressive change than the Insectoid one, and I think it's enough to move Goblin up to consistently good. I still think that they are kind of meh. Not being able to learn spells is still pretty shitty, not gonna lie to you. However, having an easier time getting your casting up to max level, being able to hold on to a lot of spell books, and have them last a lot longer, gives you a different playstyle that I think is much more interesting than they would have had in the past. In the past, basically as a goblin, the only thing you can do is get your casting and magic levels to 100, so you get the Dominate and the Force Bolt spell for free. You could also start as Conjurer, as I'm doing in my current playthrough, and a Goblin Conjurer gets the Conjure Skeleton spell automatically. But outside of that and Shaman, I believe, being the only other example, there are no other innate spells, meaning that a goblin is constantly doomed to Force Bolt and Dominate at best. That is no longer entirely the case. Now spellbooks, worth holding on to, right? If you were playing as a melee goblin or a ranged goblin, you'd probably have a couple of emergency backup like melee weapons or ranged weapons. This playstyle is no different, just flashier. Now in terms of other changes I want to make for this, I'm making a change that I've gone back and forth on a lot. I'm going to move the Incubus up to consistently great and move Succubus down to inconsistently great. And I want to be clear here that Succubus is my favorite race to play in the game, with Automaton probably being second. But I do think that with how powerful magic has become, Arcane Mark is even more valuable, because the amount of DPS you can output on an enemy that doesn't have any resistances anymore is probably pretty disgusting. I mean, with a careful spellbook usage and highly enchanted spellbook, you can put out hundreds of damage per shot, right? And an Incubus can open that fight by tossing an Arcane Mark down on the enemy and then exploding them instantly, right? So, I don't know, maybe I'll switch them back. I really like the polymorph that the Succubus has, as well as the ability to make friends with humans and stuff earlier on. But I do think that Arcane Mark is probably more valuable from a truly, like, raw meta perspective. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with how this looks overall. It's very exciting to see these two classes move up. I think Goatman is fine down here and inconsistently good. He scales really well into the late game. So personally, I don't think we need to see Goatman buffs. I've been playing Goatman. He feels fun. He's fine. But I did think that Goblin needed a little bit of something, and maybe he could use some more. I'm not an expert, but it really does feel like this change has opened up new vistas for him. And Insectoid getting that buff to pretty much their only weakness, which was magic, pretty huge, especially in an update that was really good for magic in general. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. That's it for this video. This is, like I said, going to be a short one. I will be getting to the spell tier list next, I believe. Maybe a different one? Probably the spell one, though. I want to revisit that tier list here pretty soon. Partly because of some of the changes they made in this update. All very exciting stuff. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget, we do have memberships. You get to watch videos early, and you also support me so I don't starve to death. Hey! But like I said, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your support. Don't forget to tune in for the next one. And until then, peace.